Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world. Hey, Mama, you know that it takes a village to raise a child, but did you know you can choose your village? That's why I've created a virtual village for you with all kinds of like-minded mamas. They're conscious, they're collaborative, they're intentional. Their goal is to raise really good human beings who will grow up to add value to this world. Join us today in our free private community on Facebook. Use the link in the show notes and let's transform the toddler years together. Welcome back to the Transforming the Toddler Years podcast. Today I'm talking about using tech as a tool and not a toy. This is one of the tenets of my strong belief around raising kids in the digital age. It's real. It's here. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to get more pervasive as they grow through the years. And so an important piece is to set the tone for what is technology, have conversations around these tools, and to anchor them as such. Technology is a tool, not a toy. I've talked about this before, but I would start with a story. Because recently I was traveling, and honestly, the best stuff happens when I'm traveling. I'm noticing, I'm observing, and I'm just watching the way that technology is used now, and sometimes gets in the way of interpersonal relationships. So my husband and I were in Tennessee. Our daughter lives and works there, and we went for the holiday, and it was fantastic. She is in this tiny little quintessential town that, honestly, right, you're next to a Starbucks and then a Dunkin' Donuts and then a dollar store, and then you drive maybe 45 seconds more, and all of a sudden you step back into history. It feels like you are in an 1800s brick-laid town because you are. And it's been so well preserved. So that's where we were. And she was just about to get out of work. And so we said, we'll run down to the diner or the local cafe because there's only one really, and get a table and wait for you. Well, the line was out the door. And that's fine. We had time. So we get in, we get a space. We're actually sitting at the bar looking out the window at this beautiful tiny town, which is just perfect. We're on vacation. We're loving it. And I hear behind me at a table for four, a seated table, moms coming in with their kids. And they're settling down and they're sitting and getting ready. And this is the type of place where you place your order at the bar menu and then they bring it to you when it's ready. So there's no ordering at the table. So they're sitting down and it's two women and two kids. And the kids are somewhere between, I think maybe one was like in the 3-year-old range and the other one seemed to be more in about the 5 or 6-year-old range. And so the women sit down and the first thing they do, and I can see it in the reflection of the window that I'm looking out of, is pull out full-size tablets that have those pop-up anchors in the back and set them up for the kids. The first thing they do, they sat down to have a meal together, ordered food, and the first thing these kids get, without words even, is here is your entertainment device. I had to take a deep breath on that one. Now, this is all happening behind me, thankfully, right? Because I can sit inside my thoughts and my feelings and not be tempted to look because I would be. And you know me, I don't judge. Nothing that I bring to you comes from a place of anger or judgment or could'ves or should'ves or should know betters. That's not who I am. But I am a strong advocate for interpersonal communication, creating an environment where we spend time together on purpose and have active communication, tell each other stories, practice listening, practice really being together, creating a container where as your kids learn and grow, they know that's a really cool and safe and fun space to be in. Is gameplay something that parents and kids can do in restaurants? Heck yes. Flash forward to the end of our trip. We were almost home and we stopped at a diner on the outskirts of our little town in Vermont. And there is a mom and dad and slightly older kiddo. He seemed kind of preteen, 10, 11, I guess tween is what we call that, right? They had an app on their phone. And mom was holding the phone. And the app would generate an image of a thing. And then she would look at it and start describing it. It was like what game we always used to play when we were younger. I definitely did in the 20 questions in the car, right? Except instead of having to think of something, animal, vegetable, or mineral, this app just generated a thing. And I think you probably could pick your category. Anyway, the point is, yes, they were using a piece of technology, but they were using it as a tool for a family engagement moment. She would look, it was her turn, she would describe, they would guess, somebody would get it right. She'd hand it to the next person. Dad would look, he would make his description, the people would get it. They would move around as a circle. So I guess today what I really, really want to bring home is that technology, like every other innovation in the history of humankind, can be used as a healthy, interactive, fun, engaging, learning, connected tool. Or it can segregate. It can isolate. It can make people feel like they're alone even when they're with others. Those girls in my first story, they were alone at that table, even though there were 3 other people sitting next to them. They were isolated. Entertained and quiet? Yes, but not part of the group. Contrast with that last experience, and there was laughter, and there was, oh, I should have known that, and there was connectedness, and there was core memory making. Remember that time we stopped in Vermont after we went skiing and we played that game at that diner? And it took kind of a long time for our food to come, but we didn't care because we were having fun together. Technology as a tool, not as a toy. Let's lean into that this week. But think every time you pull out your device, why am I using it right now? Let's think every time we greenlight our child to use theirs. What is the purpose of them using this right now? Let's think about creative ways to introduce technology as a fun, connected family event when you're out in the world and you don't have access to a board game. Let's get intentional about this. Because the truth is our world is getting more isolated, more individualized, less social, and less connected by the day. And this post-pandemic social reality means that we're all feeling still kind of awkward around how to get back to this highly connected social way that we as human beings are supposed to engage. It fills us. It lights us up. It creates some type of aha moments in us. It has healthy positive validation, and it allows us to continue to grow because we have access to other people's feelings and minds and energies and outputs. We were never created to exist in isolation. I remember the very beginning of my personal development journey. We went to a teacher, like one of those large seminars, and my husband and I were just kind of like, what is this? Like, let's just go check it out. And he said a lot of things that I do not recall, but this one stayed with me to this day and will never leave me. If you're not growing, you're dying. It's true in nature, and it's true with human nature. If we're not actively connected to our world, we're not growing. And we will live a stagnant, plateaued, lonely life with feelings of not enoughness and a lack of achievement. And this is not how I see our COVID generation. I see this as an opportunity for us to anchor them with what they need to be successful, self-regulated, independent human beings. But we have got to change the way that we approach our time together. So if you catch yourself using technology as a toy, just take a step. Say, is this a choice I really need and want to make right now? Maybe it is, because there is a time and a place for that. If the answer is no, I really don't need to, and honestly, I don't want to, then let's get creative to help our kids become the social creatures that will flourish in this world. Until our next episode, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.